Hello, everyone. This is Khan from Hackquarters, and this is the new normal video series. And I'm quite excited to host Kamran, our dear friend of ours. He's a quite great mentor to me whenever I can see him. And I'm really excited to talk with him and join with your questions. This series is going to be roughly like 20-25 minutes each, and we will try to bring people who are going to explain what's happening in the world, maybe give some examples how to be prepared for the new normal. And without further ado, Kamran, welcome. I'm really happy to see you. I'm sure that a lot of people are quite interested in what you have done so far, but I would be really happy maybe if you can start with uh, who are you and why we are talking today.
Hello, everyone. My name is Kamran Elahian, and I was born in Iran. The first 20 years of my life, I was an entrepreneur, started 10 companies. Three of them failed, six of them were successful, and one of them is a zombie. The six that were successful, three of them were IPOs. All the IPOs were unicorn IPOs. Between the three IPOs, they generated over $8 billion in valuation. That was the first 20 years of my life. The next 15 years, I was a global venture capital investor, invested a $350 million fund in 6 countries, and had the pleasure of working with some amazing companies like BSIM that invented 4G technology, and also SoundHound that is another unicorn in the field of natural language processing and voice recognition. My wife and I started our philanthropy work about 23 years ago, 1996, 24 years ago now. And we have worked in 36 countries on using technology for education of the youth and empowerment of women. The last 5 years, I stopped investing. I've been advising governments on creation of innovation economy within their own country, and advising a number of great organizations such as Hackquarters, which I'm very proud of my association with Khan and Sabina and the whole wonderful team over there. It's a pleasure to be with you, Khan and Sabina and the whole participants. Hello, everyone.
I mean, when you start talking about what you have delivered so far, it is definitely more than few people's lifetime of work. So every time it gives me a huge pressure on my shoulders that I'm kind of slacking a little bit off. Maybe I should do more, but it is always nice to have you. I mean, right now it's like maybe every 6 months that we can talk to each other, and before this session started, you were just mentioning that you traveled a lot because you have different advisory roles, you have your philanthropy. So you were basically living on a plane. With coronavirus hitting the world, it is quite a change for you as well. So my question is, we are not here to talk about the virus itself, but of course, all of us are impacted in terms of healthcare, in terms of businesses, and some of the founders are quite interested in what they should do, maybe do a pivot or focus on something else. So what I'm going to ask you is, you've seen a lot of things in your life. What do you think? Are we going to change our lifestyle? Are we start to work at home more isolated or not?
Absolutely. The world is changing on a macro level. And I look at macro level is the big picture. Coronavirus and its effect are huge, but it is in the history of our species, it is a blip that has a significant impact, but it is just a blip. There will be many more viruses coming, many more other problems coming, and we need to look at the big picture. In terms of the big picture, if we look at the economies that we have had species started about 12,000 years ago, have an agricultural economy. 18th century brought us industrial economy. 20th century brought us knowledge economy. And now we are in 21st century with innovation economy, primarily fueled by the broadband. And that has a much bigger mega trend type of influence over everything we do than just looking at coronavirus. So let me mention one thing. What is the difference between innovation economy versus knowledge economy? In knowledge economy, ideas were very important and you had to hold to your ideas. In innovation economy, knowledge is important, but not as important because of broadband. It has gone everywhere. And therefore, it's implementation execution. And while I talked about, for example, I had 10 companies, 3 of them failed. My biggest failure was iPad 18 years before iPad. So the idea obviously was great. It was implementation and execution that failed. If you look at a great company like Google, idea we think is great. Well, it wasn't the inventor of the search engine. There were 6 other companies before Google, like Infosec, Alta Vista, AskJeeves, Excite, Yahoo. So many of them came before Google. So idea is not as important in innovation economy. It is really the implementation and execution. If I wanted to talk about it in one sense, is the disruption. So when we look at disruption as a fundamental of innovation economy in big picture, then coronavirus is a minor disruption. Minor, it has huge effect, but in terms of time, it would be maybe a couple years in our 12,000 years history of economy. So let's look at what sorts of things really are the big picture things, and then look at the things related to this disruption and how we can prepare for it. As a quick thing, I think it's important to learn about this pyramid that says everything we do goes through manual, mechanical, electromechanical, microelectronic, software, or algorithmic content. If you look at world of finance, this is manual, this is mechanical, this is electromechanical, microelectronic, PC software, the spreadsheet, but the future of finance is blockchain. And if we look at the companies which were really important and big in 2009, highest value companies were Exxon, PetroChina, Walmart, Procter & Gamble, Johnson & Johnson. These were the big highest value companies. Within 10 years, value creation changed with huge disruption. And these are the top of the line, highest value companies at the end of 2019. Microsoft, Apple, Amazon, Google, Facebook, Alibaba, Tencent. I mean, who had ever heard of Alibaba or Tencent 10 years ago? Chinese companies becoming the highest value in field of IT. It's the whole world has been disrupted. The change has been happening in the big picture. And if we look at it, the job of an entrepreneur comes for looking at these disruptions and looking at when the change is going to happen, going from one stage to another, to be a pioneer in that or learn from it, localize it for your sector, localize it for your geography, and create a successful answer, solution to that disruption. So you are the leader and beneficiary of that disruption rather than being fearful and becoming a victim. Now, my field is education. So you ask me about this and I say, all right, how does this apply to my field right now? In our field of advising governments, advising entrepreneurs, in my field of getting education out there. How does this apply? Education manual, mechanical was with Gutenberg printing press, electromechanical is electromechanical printing press. With PC, we got first time the chance to create digital content, and all the books and articles, everything became available. YouTube became an educational thing. Online courses started to spring up everywhere. But if I had to look at where the future of education is algorithmic content. It's huge number of articles, huge number of videos, huge number of books are all available, online courses, whatever. How do you find your way through this? The old style of education was there would be a professor, a teacher standing up, giving lecture to everyone. Then future of education, education 3.0 is experiential learning, emphasis going into learners and looking at how these learners can learn the things, not theoretical, not by just watching a video, have advantage of AI helping them maneuver their way. That, hey, you took this course, this is the next one you should take. You learned this skill, now you should do this. Or a mentor, a real human being, a professor, a teacher acting as a coach and helping you maneuver your way through this. Or a combination of the two. That's the ultimate. Use AI, the professor uses AI, but helps the learners do experiential things that really takes them to the next level. So as time goes by, this pyramid is going to become inverted pyramid. And now let's come back and look at what has happened, the effect of the virus. More and more people are learning that, hey, they can do work from home, especially if they innovate and look at new ways. I remember 20 years ago when I used the first video conferencing service in our office, we had to call an IT person to come and install WebEx and pay so much money to Cisco to do all of these things. Today, thanks to Zoom and Team and Hangout and whatever, whether it's Microsoft, Google, whichever company, we have so many choices available to communicate with each other, all thanks to broadband. The broadband allowed us to go through major choices and major innovation taking place. So what are some of the obvious things? More and more people learn that, hey, they are productive at home. Do they need to go to office? Maybe if you need a group meeting, you rent an office or go to a tech hub, a local one, and rent their conference room once a week for a few hours. The whole team comes together. The rest of the time, we all have learned how to work from home and communicate with each other. As we do that, there is telework happening. The commuting goes down, fuel and power consumption goes down. So oil industry, gas industry is going to continue suffering and having problems. Car companies who sell so many cars will sell fewer of them. Traffic congestion goes away, and a lot of the maladies that are caused by traffic congestion goes away. People become more productivity aware because they say, hey, do I need to commute to get there? Maybe I just do my work over the course of 24 hours rather than all once between 8 to 5 or 9 to 5 or whatever. Say I do a couple hours of work here, a couple hours of work there. I can go to gig economy, do multitasking, do a whole bunch of things. Part of that, I can spend time with my family, be more productive on that, and the planet wins.
Exactly.
The air becomes cleaner, the cities become calmer. Who could have ever thought that a city like New York would start to look at oh, maybe we should be like Barcelona. You know, I have a honor pleasure of spending 3 weeks a year teaching at Harvard Space University in Barcelona. And every time I go there, every year, the mayor is so determined. Every year they take 1 or 2 or 3 streets and they convert them to parks. And they tell everybody, if you don't like it, don't drive and just walk or take the metro or ride a bicycle or a scooter or whatever. But New York is thinking maybe we should close down some streets and make it a park. So these are all very good things that have happened. And if we look at it in the big picture of innovation, it's extremely positive, opening up so many new opportunities. Why do I say it's so exciting? In knowledge economy, for the first time in evolution of our species, brain started to generate more wealth than physical power. So it democratized the value of men and women. In innovation economy, because it's all about change and disruption, it gives advantage to the young people, because old people do not like change. They like things to be static. And if we look at the power structure, political structure, economic structure of the world is controlled by old men. Here is the first time a chance for young men and women to go and not only have a say, but generate wealth. With wealth comes power that transcends everything.
I mean,
so it's a very, very unusual situation. If you put the right energy, positive energy approach, looking for opportunity for positive change and positive social impact.
We have few questions, and I also want to mention to our guests as well that if they want to ask some questions, we might have like maybe 5 to 6 minutes. And in the point of the change, I'm also kind of happy. I mean, coronavirus will make a lot of economical and personal impact to all of the people's lives. I mean, we already have lost a lot of people to this virus, but we had, for example, remote working infrastructure. We had this Skype or WebEx for years and years. We had broadband even, but those changes didn't happen when we had to. It kind of pushed us to experience it. Now, I believe that many people will try to be on this, the new normal thing. Because as you said, a lot of people are considering that maybe even if we go back to our offices, we shouldn't do that full time, because it doesn't really make sense to go every day to pollute the world, have like 1 hour traffic commuting back and forth. And right now we have broadband. Even our entertainment life is different. When you have your TV plugged to your internet, you can watch 4K movies seamlessly. So it's really great. And while we were talking about real estate prices, fuel prices, and car and automotive industry, our dear friend Marcel from World Business Angels Forum, he asked, what verticals do you think worth investing in during the crisis and after the impacts of the crisis? What do you think about the verticals?
Okay, I would say and is moving towards the summit of that pyramid. Any vertical could be very good because if within that vertical you have seen the company has moved forward. For example, let's pick up a vertical like music. If somebody is selling music in a music store, it's old technology. People will not go to music store to get that. because Spotify and the Pandora and iTunes and whatever have wiped out that business. Same like the movie theaters or the rental videos, Netflix and Vimeo and YouTube, all of that have all gone through algorithmic content. And they actually tell you, you watch this movie, they say, since you watched this movie, you liked it, these are the other things that you may want to watch. And they start to use algorithmic content to cache some of the content locally based on the needs of the people who are living in that local, watch certain type of cultural things, certain language things, and certain content fit within that region, so they cache it locally so the service could be higher. All of this would actually be significantly increased as we have low orbit satellite being deployed. Look at what SpaceX is doing on that. Every few months they're putting 60 more new low orbit satellites there. What Elon Musk is doing is phenomenal. And as those services come online, we are going to see the next level of impact of algorithmic content, because a huge broadband allows us to manage such a huge amount of data in every sector, in every sector. If it is health, yes, it would be telehealth with telemonitoring. If it is insurance, it would be using big data to look at high risk, low risk buying patterns of the people. If it is transportation, look at before coronavirus, Uber had a higher value because it was on the top of that pyramid than General Motors plus Ford plus Chrysler combined. And Uber bought Careem not because Uber couldn't do what Careem did. It probably could, but it would have taken them loss of market share for 3-4 years. Careem had understood the needs of Middle East, the needs that were relevant, and had a very compelling set of innovations that really made sense. You look at Flipkart in India, how high value it is, because it has understood within that geography. So it's combination of your sector, your geography that matters. And I just look at it and see any company that looks interesting, look at it and see within their sector, within their geography, are they at the software level, are they at algorithmic content level or not? If they are doing it that way, invest in them, copy their ideas, get the ideas from them, implement it, execute it within your own region, and be very proud of it, because innovation is not just somebody coming up with an idea. As I said, ideas come a dime a dozen. I had the idea for iPad 18 years before iPad, but I failed miserably, and nobody knows about momentum computer. So ideas are not important. It's who went and implemented, executed, and disrupted a way of doing business in a new way.
One of our fellows founders asked something. I mean, as you know, the only constant in life is change. So, and this incident actually accelerated everything. So we will see the impacts, but he's asking if there is something not going to change, what it is.
Okay, so let me just give you a thing. As you are preparing for innovation economy, there are two set of skills. One is hard skills that learn a lot more about software and algorithmic content. And if you don't have those expertise, find co-founders, find people who have that. Second thing is a set of soft skills, that how do you manage your mindset? And it is the difference between a fixed mindset and an entrepreneurial mindset. Let's talk about that. If you go through this exercise and see where you fit and how you can change some of these, answers come to you because of that shift in mindset. A fixed mindset says, I'm afraid of change. I don't want anything to change. Well, entrepreneurial mindset, I strive for change. Especially if you are a young person, you are an asset. You are not liability, because young people celebrate change, strive for change. And women actually have a major advantage, because when we are looking at change, multitasking becomes a huge part of this. And women from young age learn multitasking. When I was growing up, all I had to do was be a good boy and get good grades. My older sister, she had to be a good girl, get good straight A's. In addition, she had to take care of me, take care of my younger brother, take care of grocery shopping, and help my mom with cooking. So she learned multitasking very, very early on. So her mindset was prepared on that. So remember, there is chance for change, celebrate it. And if you have advantages in there because of your youth, because of the mindset of multitasking, that's huge advantage. Fixed mindset says success comes from talent, from heritage. If I wasn't born with the right genes, I don't have any chance. If I wasn't born into a rich family, I have no chance. Entrepreneurial mindset says, no, it comes from effort. Fixed mindset says, I don't like challenges. Entrepreneur says, it's an opportunity to learn. Fixed mindset says, failure means I can't do it. Entrepreneurial mindset says, failure is a way to learn, and it's stepstone. And I learn more, and I learn more. If you look at the best Olympic champions, the coaches don't just train them to win, they train them not to give up after they fail. And each time you look at the best tennis player, Federer, look at how many times he has lost. And he goes back, fixes this, fixes that, does more exercises, gets in better shape, comes back, changes the coach, comes back and wins again and doesn't give up. Look at Michael Jordan. Look at any sport.
Yeah.
Not giving up after failure and looking at it as stepstone that you learn. Feedback mindset looks at feedback as a personal attack. Why are you telling me this? Entrepreneurial mindset says, let me go and introduce my product to the market, get the feedback, even if it is negative feedback, let me grow. Let me see how I can improve that. And in fixed mindset, you will be pissed off if you see your friends succeed and you didn't succeed. In entrepreneurial mindset, you say, hey, Khan, you're successful, your success inspires me. Let me see what you did right. I will learn on that. And even if I'm your competitor, I learn and I succeed not by causing failure for you, but by trying to get better and work harder and do something better. So I celebrate your success, even if you are my competitor, which you are not, you're a dear friend. But I'm saying, even if you were, I should look at it as an entrepreneur as a way that your success inspires me to work harder and learn from you what you did right, what you did wrong to get it better. And in fixed mindset is, oh, I keep my ideas close to myself. I apply for a patent. I stop everybody from copying my ideas. Ideas are important. Entrepreneurial mindset says, no, I don't know everything. I'm not the smartest one out there. There are lots of smart people with smart ideas. Let me go and find the best team, collaborate with them, learn how to attract them, and create a real institution, not just one man show, one person army. So these are some of the things that I believe if you follow would be extremely helpful. And one thing I would say is, this is pre our announcement. Next week we are going to announce it, but we have at Global Innovation Catalyst an IX Innovation Accelerator program, which is online. and starts from June 1st to August 24th. It is based on the course at Stanford, Ideas to Market, the core curriculum, which is an online course, how to get your ideas to market. This is a course that has been taught at Stanford for more than 30 years. You don't have to come to Stanford to go and register, pay their tuitions, all of those things which are high. You can take this course online. But as we said before, it's not just theoretical. You need experiential learning. So we are adding weekly workshops. We are adding mentoring webinars to hold the people's hand. And we are providing ability for getting your final pitches all reviewed by a lot of experts. The content is from world-class university. The execution comes from facilitating the workshops that push you to go and share your ideas, talk to your customers. And the community is the network of experts, not just the professors from Stanford, but a whole bunch of fellows that we have all over the world, including people have been qualified by Stanford University to be our fellows, to be the certified instructors to oversee these things in Turkey. And it is a way that you can join this, learn while you work, and invent while you are learning, innovate while you are doing this. And at the end of the 12 weeks, you also receive a certificate of completion from Stanford Center for Professional Development. So I can't give you more details. Just stay tuned. I gave you a pre-announcement flavor of this, but if you want to learn experientially how to do some of these new approaches, new ways, we are trying to take this to the next level. First time it's coming outside the Stanford University, and our cooperation with them is allowing this to be hopefully available to thousands of people soon. But this first effort is coming out starting June 1st.
I'm really sorry for that. Last time it was in Bodrum, one of the finest places in Turkey. So I was supposed to be there, but I had a agenda problem and I couldn't meet you there. I hope it will help more people. I think we will also put the information about your program in the link where we are going to share this video as well. For the closing part, Kamran, I mean, we have more questions, but we said that it will take half an hour, so we already over-exceeded our time. But it is also a quite relevant question because we talked about different ways of working, and there is also a part of that which is co-working spaces like WeWork. It's a huge part of the ecosystem right now, and people are looking at differently. So do you have any kind of vision how it's going to work out for co-working spaces?
Sure. So in my opinion, a tech hub is a co-working space that has the ability to attract different type of people, people coming with engineering background, with business background, and with social science, design, creative arts background. And it's a very unique place because you cannot find these people in regular university. Typical universities teach you, if you go to College of Engineering, it's a silo and you only learn engineering skills. If you go to business school, you learn the business techniques, but you don't have interaction with the creative arts people or engineering students. So these are individual silos. Tech hubs have the ability to not just be a co-working space, but actually attract these people by doing certain accelerator courses, by creating microfunds that would promote this integration. because it's these three talents that come together to create very, very extraordinary successful products. If you only bring engineering there, engineers don't like to interact with customers, and they keep inventing without getting any feedback. If you bring business students there, marketing students, then they learn that they should take their idea, go and talk to customers and learn from them, get feedback, improve upon it. But still, that's not enough. You look at the previous versions of Windows that came around with amazing engineering talents and very good business talents of Microsoft. Uh, it was great, except you had to use three fingers, Control Alt Delete, to get it started. It said that Microsoft did not have the understanding of user interface, human psychology of interaction with machines, the ease of use, creative part that Apple brought in, so that you could just tap on something and it gets started. And why do you need to have so many complicated string of characters to do something? So it is very key to do that. And I believe a tech hub has that opportunity, because it is a melting pot that would go, and it is not the kind of business that you have to sign up for 5 years lease or 1 year lease like business offices would be. The business of tech hubs, which are the hot desks, or what you call the dynamic desks, or whatever, that if you change it, instead of requiring people to sign up for a whole month at a time, and then make it be more open, so that people could just walk in there. They're guaranteed access to a desk and access to multiple conference rooms. I would highly recommend the tech hubs to rearrange the internal structure, instead of having permanent places for businesses. Reduce that. You still need some, but reduce that. Count on more hot desks or dynamic desks, that somebody comes in there and has that desk for 2 hours or for 3 hours to do some work, or to have access to small gathering area or conference room or informal coffee shop setting, to have a meeting with 2, 3, 4 people, face-to-face meeting, meet some other people, and then leave. I believe that business is going to really, really bloom and grow exponentially.
Yeah. Maybe the co-working spaces will be more distributed than the centralized versions that we have, like a huge one building, rather than we will have more in different regions in the same city, so people can stop by in one of them, meet other people, and celebrate innovation. So
exactly, and also use use big data to attract people. Don't advertise just in engineering school, come and join me. Go to creative arts, go to business schools, go to place and say, hey, this is our model. Come over here and see the people who are different than you, and form your teams by having access to the folks that you don't normally run into. Within engineering schools, every engineer knows a lot of other engineers, but they don't know anybody in the art school.
Kamran, thank you very much. Really, it's been nice to have you back. It's nice to chat about what's been happening in the world, and it's always great to hear what you has to say. I would be really happy to share your new program as well with the same link. And I'm quite happy that we had a lot of people who joined us. We had more questions, but I think we cannot do it. Maybe I can share it to you. We can write it as a comment and go back to our friends
Sure.
who asked the questions. If you
And
have,
have everyone come and join me. Unfortunately, I am maxed out at Facebook and LinkedIn. LinkedIn doesn't let you have more than 30,000 people. But Instagram has no limit. Twitter has no limit. It would be
exactly,
lovely to be connected to you and cooperate and interact. So
perfect.
pleasure talking with you all. Take good care.
See you. Have a great day. Take care. Bye
Thank you.
bye.
Bye-bye.